And the singer Ed Sheeran is in Belfast meeting young aspiring musicians as part of his launch of his foundation, which is going to support organisations and schools in Northern Ireland. It aims to improve access to music for young people by providing instruments and opportunities for performances. Snow Patrol's Gary Lightbody is also there.
The arts is criminally underfunded in Northern Ireland, and we also have a lot of schools that don't meet the criteria for getting support for their music and arts departments. And that is also something that needs to be fixed, and that's at governmental level. We need to put pressure on them too. But what Ed is doing is an extraordinary thing. We never get included. It's amazing that he's included Northern Ireland and made Northern Ireland a priority.
And Gary Lightbody from Snow Patrol features in this next piece tonight because Ed Sheeran called into the Oh Yes Centre in Belfast as part of the launch of his new foundation, which will support grassroots music education in Northern Ireland. With Gary Lightbody and the Oh Yes Centre's Charlotte Dryden, Ed gave a press conference, and I went along to find out more about his plans.
Well, originally it started off as a Suffolk Music Foundation. I went to a state-funded high school. I wasn't very academic. I wasn't good at all the sort of key subjects that are, you know, the things that lead to the good jobs. I basically had a very, very good music teacher that was, I guess, classically inclined, but realised that I wasn't going to read music and that I quite like writing songs and performing, and he encouraged me, and that became my profession and job. And I'm hugely grateful to him and my high school for the encouragement. And then I met up with him maybe about 8 years ago, and he told me the state that the state music was in education, and you know, he was getting a very, very limited amount of funds per year, and he was saying that there are some schools where music teachers just aren't there anymore and there's no music departments, and that was in 2017, 2018. Starting the Suffolk Music Foundation and putting into stuff locally, I realised it's not just high schools and primary schools, it's local music hubs. You know, these places are like key parts of communities that give kids who aren't academic and aren't good at science and maths, they give them a purpose and they give them a real boost in confidence in all aspects of the music industry.
You kind of touched on this already, but what does this mean for aspiring musicians in practical terms all over Northern Ireland? And how will you judge the success of this project? If you came back 5 years from now in Derry or in another part of Northern Ireland, what will you judge it as a success by?
Well, I think it's actually nothing to do with me. It's all about the people that are here. I find everywhere that I visit, the infrastructure is there. There are amazing people all across Northern Ireland who are doing amazing things with the youth and music. My point is the funding's not there. So I can come in and provide funding and hopefully provide pressure on government to give more funding, or local businesses or people involved in music in Northern Ireland to give more funding. But it's nothing to do with me. It's me coming in and being like, I would love to see these things keep running and keep inspiring kids. But you know, these guys have been running the Oh Yeah Centre for 17 years. It's nothing to do with me. I'm just coming in saying this is great, I would love to donate to it. So I would love to come back in 5 years and see the same thing, to be honest, because everything I've seen today has been hugely exciting. There's a huge amount of talent in Northern Ireland, and I know that there is no shortage of it. So in 5 years it will be the same, if not more.
But what have been some of the highlights? You've had a busy day today, kind of looking and checking out some young people involved with music. What have been some of the highlights for you and Gary, you know, introducing Ed to the talent here in Belfast?
The Drake one was really fun. We sort of made a tune upstairs, which was really great. But I think the most excited I've been in a long time was going to Hotbox Entertainment, seeing all the talent, because what I loved about it is it wasn't just Belfast rappers. There was singers, musicians. They were jamming. They had this band, and they basically did this massive cypher where everyone came in and did 16 bars off something. It could have been a song, it could have been a rap, it could have been a poem, it could have been a story. And it took me back to being 18 and in grime cyphers, and just the energy and excitement of it. I loved that, you know, Belfast. I mean, I sort of saying Belfast, but I know it is a Northern Ireland thing, but I love that it has the music or the rap, there's like an identity, and it's very much like people are being themselves. There's no fake accents being put on. People are rapping about things that are actually very, very real to them, and stories that have happened to them. The videos are being shot in their communities, and you know, there is a community of musicians, and I think that that's what all scenes need.
I've never been more proud to be from here than today, probably. Seeing Hotbox and Drake and everything that happened here with Elevate and Volume Control, and seeing all the musicians that played up the stairs. We really put on a show today, and you'll see it in the clips that are going to be around, online, I'm sure. And Ed ended up freestyling, rapping with the Hotbox guys, and it was just. I didn't, by the way, just so you know. It was just so inspiring and so much fun, and
so musically diverse as well. It's like most of the musicians that I know from touring around and writing with, it's kind of all one genre and field that we all sort of play together. But it's nice to see such a rich, diverse musical community coming out of Belfast.
My boys still far from prison and no pop star, they say they prefer. Kept quiet, haven't claimed to be heard. Been a long time up top, but I ain't complacent. Fill up down, I can see replacements. Relate to sense and he's adjacent. Gotta make dreams and chasing. Don't about the ones you're attracting. Gotta keep this new same pace. Don't ask me how I got this break. I put my own pace. Every night you stop this pain. I look at the things in space. I wonder if he's proud of things that his best friend lost his way. Keep it together from my door, it's gotta come natural. I don't wanna force it if it's not natural. Don't support it every year, gotta reach from the
Ed and Gary both, you don't need to do this. Others don't. Why do you want to do this? Why do you want to support emerging music the way that you both do so passionately?
Because I benefited from it. I went to state school. I did local youth projects, Battle of the Bands. I've benefited from it. So it's time to give back. And to be honest, I was a bit sort of clouded when in my early 20s. I was just touring, and I just thought that everything was sorted. I just assumed that because I had a great music teacher and that I was able to do these sort of music youth projects, that was just the norm. And it wasn't actually until starting the foundation and going around and realizing that it's not the norm, and I was in a very privileged position to even have music at my state school.
It took us 10 years to have any kind of success, and I knew what it felt like to not have anything in that time, sleeping on friends' floors and sleeping on top of the gear in the back of the van, or asking the audience, can you put us up for the night and we'll sleep in the living room, you know what I mean, which we did many times. The audience of like 20 people. So I know what that feels like. I know what it is to not have, success in music. And I also knew that if I ever did, the last thing I would do would be to pull the ladder up after me. I'd make more ladders. I always wanted to. I always wanted to make sure that there was a route up in the same way that I came, or any multiple different ways, but just up. And that's and it's difficult in Northern Ireland to get that kind of success from here. There's a lot against us. We've had nine international acts from Northern Ireland in the last 40 years. Like, I can list them if you want, but it's not a lot considering the amount of talent that we have here. To achieve escape velocity from Northern Ireland is difficult. And you want to make it easier, not more difficult. And cutting funding right now, which is what's happening across the board, is not the right move.
Huge thanks to Ed and Gary and everybody at the OES Centre today.